a big episode, friends. I'm Erin.
I'm Tom.
And this is Baby's First Watch List, the jolliest bunch of podcasters this side of the nut house. That's a quote from the movie.
Yeah, I know. I watched the movie.
We have our second special guest ready to celebrate Christmas with us. It's our baby's maternal grandfather, Grandpa Phil, a.k.a. Sir. That's what he wants to go as, Sir. Grandpa Phil, tell us about your Christmas movie. Oh, first of all, hello.
Hello.
Tell us about your Christmas movie tradition. What do you like watching? What's the vibe? What do you do?
Wait, can we first address the elephant in the room?
What is it?
That there's no camera in the room.
Oh, yeah. Our cameraman friend,
our loyal videographer,
is a bit under the weather.
Stricken ill.
Yes. So we'll be back maybe next week with...
Yeah, hopefully next week.
Yes.
So I want to point out that I wore this damn Minion shirt.
We can take a picture. We'll make it.
I could be on video with it.
We'll take a picture and make it the thumbnail.
So he has on a shirt that says "Dear Santa, define good," and it has a picture of a minion in a Santa hat with a rocket launcher.
That was for our Minions trivia that I didn't end up going to.
It was. We came in
shirt.
second place. Yes.
We haven't told any trivia stories in a while, actually.
Listen, I don't want to talk about it. So we should have won, but the guy who does its wife was on a team, and that team of only 2 people won. That does not add up to me.
Great holiday knowledge.
Yeah, apparently very, very good holiday knowledge. Yeah. So, okay. Tell us about what you watch on the Christmas season.
Okay, so I've always had the Holy Trinity of Christmas.
The Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Christmas Vacation.
Yeah.
Elf, and Christmas Story.
Yes.
However, there's been a slight adjustment to that.
No, it's a Mount Rushmore.
Christmas.
No, you called it the Four Horsemen.
Well, Christmas Story's been dropped.
Oh.
And Daddy's Home 2 has now taken the third spot in the Trinity.
Is Daddy's Home 1 a Christmas movie?
No.
No, right?
No, it is not.
I know that 2 is.
No.
No. And so Daddy's Home 1, you don't even really like that much.
No, it was funny, and that's why I watched 2, but 2's spectacular.
Wait, hold on. I have to find out what percentage on Rotten Tomatoes
Daddy's Home 2 has.
Daddy's Home 2. I accidentally typed in Daddy's Gnome 2.
That was one of those movies that when it came out, I had no idea there was ever a first one.
It's got a solid 21% on Rotten Tomatoes. Hey, it did way better than 8 Crazy Nights.
Yes,
so, that's
significantly better.
So, let's talk about today's movie, one of the Holy Trinity, one that stayed on, 1989's National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. So this movie was directed by Jeremiah S. Chechik, who is best known for 1989's National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Do you know who the people that they were going to have direct were?
I talk about it, don't you worry. Well,
Okay.
I talk about one.
Okay.
So
Was
just
it-
wait. Just wait.
Is it the guy who wrote it?
No.
Okay, it's the other guy.
John Hughes was maybe going to direct
It was, it never was serious.
Interesting. So it's better known for being written by holiday king John Hughes. The movie started off. Did you know it didn't start off as just a screenplay for a movie? Did you know that?
No.
It's actually it started as a short story by John Hughes called Christmas 59. Where was this story first published? Anybody want to guess?
National Lampoon.
Yes, it was published in the December 1980 issue of National Lampoon magazine. That kind of reminds me of how Gene Shepard wrote a bunch of stuff that ended up becoming a Christmas story, right? Like Ralphie's story was in one of his books. So it was originally supposed to be directed by Chris Columbus.
Yeah.
I know you know who Chris Columbus is.
Yeah.
Do you know what Chris Columbus is known for directing?
Heard the name, but I don't remember.
Yes. He's not known for sailing to the Indies. He is the director of the first 2 Harry Potter movies.
And Home Alone.
Well, Tom, that gave away my little thing. So I said it was originally supposed to be directed by Chris Columbus, but he fought with Chevy Chase too much.
Yes.
Don't feel too bad for him, though. John Hughes gave him another script, Home Alone.
Yes.
So he also directed Home Alone.
Speaking of Chevy Chase and fighting, did you find it ironic that Bill Murray's brother
Yes.
is in the movie?
Yeah. And Bill Murray and Chevy Chase hate each other.
They couldn't even film together in Caddyshack. They actually had a fist fight, I believe, in Caddyshack.
I think they did, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so I found it very interesting that
His
Brian
brother.
Doyle Murray was in the movie.
Why did I think his name was Bob Murray? Maybe because Bill Murray was in What About Bob?
Because Brian Doyle Murray was also in Caddyshack.
Oh, he was?
Yeah, he was, I believe he was one of the characters at the with the caddies.
Yeah.
I do
He was
believe.
the Shack.
He was the Shack.
He was also in a TV show. What TV show was he in? Like some Rules of Engagement.
Yeah,
or
he's
something
been
random.
a few.
Oh, that is actually a very interesting.
Sorry,
fact.
I don't want you to get off
No,
track.
it's true though. Chevy Chase fought with everybody.
Yeah.
And
Literally.
April has joined us.
April fights with Ball all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
So, at an amazing 97 minutes, Christmas Vacation is the third installment in the National Lampoon Vacation series. Does anyone know the first two?
Yes.
You do?
Can I say them, or are you going to say that, oh, I jumped in?
No, you can say it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Vacation
Yeah.
and European Vacation.
Yeah, you're right. It stars Chevy Chase and Beverly D'Angelo, who had two kids with Al Pacino.
Yeah. Have I seen either of those two? No.
Twins, I believe.
Yes, it was. It was twins.
Through
And
IVF.
There are lots and lots of supporting actors that we'll be discussing later on. Christmas Vacation was a commercial success, netting a profit of $73.3 million on a mere $25 million budget. It debuted at number 2 behind a very famous sequel, 1989. Anyone know what sequel came out in 1989? Ooh, I'll give you a hint.
I have an idea.
The original was 1985.
Hmm.
Yes. And then this one came out a mere No,
Is it Die Hard?
it's not. It's Back to the Future Part
okay.
2. So Back to the Future Part 2 debuted at number 1. Christmas Vacation number 2. But Christmas Vacation had a comeback. It actually hit number 1 during its 3rd and 4th weeks. It makes sense because it came out December 1st.
Right,
so
right,
as
right.
you get closer to Christmas, It received mixed to positive reviews with a 70% on Rotten Tomatoes. It has, however, become a Christmas classic. As far as sequels and spin-offs are concerned, of course, we know that there were plenty of vacation movies later on, but there was a random 2003 NBC spin-off that followed Cousin Eddie's family on a vacation in the South Pacific. I did not know that existed.
Good Lord.
Did you watch that?
No, I did not. I knew it existed,
Not
and
yet.
I chose not to watch
Got it. Not a big Randy Quaid guy.
No.
A bunch of the actors, Chevy Chase, Beverly D'Angelo, and Juliette Lewis, I think, have also appeared in those roles for commercials for Old Navy and the Ford Mustang Mach-E. So there you go. That one was pretty recent. It
Yeah, I remember
might have
that
been
one.
No, it wouldn't have been a Super Bowl commercial, but it was for something
Could have been.
relatively recent for they did like the lighting scene. So that is Christmas Vacation. Tom, give us a nice, like, totally not copied from Wikipedia summary.
Most of mine are substantially copied from Wikipedia. This one is like mostly word for word. Anyway, all right. After an animated opening featuring Santa Claus and some reindeer, we are introduced to Chicago area resident Clark Griswold, played by Chevy Chase, driving his family, wife Ellen, played by Beverly D'Angelo, daughter Audrey, played by Juliette Lewis, son Rusty, played by Johnny Galecki. That is a star-studded family.
It really is.
And they're going to pick up a Christmas tree. After a road rage car chase and a Fast and Furious style stunt, this is actually me, this is not Wikipedia. A Fast and Furious style stunt where the Griswold's car ends up under the container of an 18-wheeler on a highway. The family trudges their way through the snow for hours, and Clark picks out the largest tree he can find. But there's a problem. They didn't bring anything to cut the tree down with, so they have to uproot it, drag it however far back to the car, and strap it to the roof. They are somehow ultimately successful. Soon after, both Clark's and Ellen's parents arrive for Christmas, and their bickering quickly gets annoying. Clark, however, tries to stay positive, as he wants to have a fun, old-fashioned family Christmas. He covers the entire outside of the house with 25,000 or 125,000
No, I think it's
twinkle lights.
25,000.
Because I saw on one site it said 125, and I was like, that sounds like way too much.
That's a lot.
Which he makes an entire spectacle of until he plugs them in and nothing. Because, as we come to learn later on, Clark has accidentally wired them through his garage's light switch, which was turned off. When the lights finally come on, they temporarily short-circuit the entire city of Chicago and create chaos for the Griswolds' yuppie neighbors Todd and Margot Chester, played by Nicholas Guest and Julia Louis-Dreyfus. While standing on the front lawn admiring his work, Clark is shocked to see Ellen's country cousin Catherine, played by Miriam Flynn, and her husband Eddie, played by Randy Quaid, pull up unannounced with their children Rocky and Ruby Sue, as well as their Rottweiler Snots. Eddie later admits that they are living in this RV as he is broke and has been forced to sell his home. In addition, his older children are too busy to join them. Feeling bad, Clark offers to buy gifts for Eddie's kids so they can still enjoy Christmas. Soon after, Clark's grumpy Uncle Lewis and senile Aunt Bethany arrive as well.
King and queen.
Throughout the movie, Clark wonders why his boss Frank has not given him his yearly bonus, which he desperately needs to replace an advance payment he has to install a swimming pool for the coming summer.
Also, Clark is like really secretly smart because he
Oh, yeah.
invented something that keeps your cereal crunchy.
Which is
That's pretty impressive.
Which reminds me of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles showering salesman.
Yes,
But like
these
a
are,
smart
like,
version.
super specific occupations.
Yes. After a disastrous Christmas Eve dinner, which included Bethany's cat getting electrocuted and Uncle Lewis accidentally burning down the Christmas tree while lighting a cigar, Clark finally receives his envelope, but instead of the presumed bonus, the envelope contains a free year's membership for the Jelly of the Month Club. This prompts Clark to snap, and he goes into a tirade about Frank, and out of anger, requests that he be delivered to the house wrapped in a bow so that Clark can insult him to his face. Taking Clark's request literally, Eddie kidnaps Frank from his mansion. Frank admits having canceled the bonuses, and Clark rips into him. Meanwhile, Frank's wife Helen calls the police, and a SWAT team storms the Griswold home and holds everyone at gunpoint. Frank decides not to press charges and explains the situation to Helen and the SWAT leader, both of whom scold him for scrapping the bonuses. Frank ultimately decides to reinstate the bonuses, with Clark getting a bonus equal to last year's amount plus 20%. Outside, Rocky and Ruby Sue think they see Santa Claus in the distance, but Clark tells them it's actually the Christmas star, and that he finally realizes what the holiday means to him. Uncle Lewis says the light is coming down from the sewage treatment plant, reminding Clark that Eddie had been dumping his RV sewage into the nearby storm drain. Before Clark can stop him, Uncle Lewis tosses a match used to light his cigar into the drain, triggering an explosion which sends a Santa sleigh decoration flying into the sky. Aunt Bethany sings the Star-Spangled Banner, and everyone joins in as the flaming decoration flies into the distance. The entire family, Frank, Helen, and the SWAT team then celebrate inside the house while Clark and Ellen happily kiss. Clark stands outside, satisfied that he provided a great Christmas for his family, and as the credits roll, he manages to give Snots the petting he wanted the entire movie.
Aw. That sounds like an awful movie.
Yeah, there a lot of the funny parts aren't in there.
Took out like all the funny parts.
Blame Wikipedia, not me.
Oh my gosh.
I was on a
that's so
tight
funny.
deadline today.
Yeah, I feel you. All right, so
Yeah, those are my thoughts when he was doing the summary.
you're like, where's the part where
Where's
he,
the
like,
attic scene? Where's the
attic
squirrel
scene,
scene?
the
Where's
squirrel
the
scene,
ladder scene?
the
Where's
one- the one where he like slides down the
The
sledding
sled scene.
Let's do our first segment where we talk about everything I missed in the plot summary.
Talk about how awful that plot summary was. Okay, so my first question, I provided really most of my questions up front so that you would have a chance to answer them in your head. Because, you know, sometimes coming up on the fly is tough. So the first question, Clark Griswold is a pretty iconic character in comedy. He's in Christmas Vacation, but he's in all kinds of other ones. I know that in the newer Vacation movies, Ed Helms plays Clark Griswold kind of type. You give a thumbs down.
You can't see this because the video guy's not here, but I'm giving a thumbs down to Ed Helms playing that role.
Okay. I want you then to, I have somebody in mind. I want you to recast Chevy Chase's character today.
Okay, so I gave it some thought, and first I thought, oh, Ryan Reynolds, but I thought Ryan Reynolds would be good for the smooth part of it,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of physical comedy involved. Then Ryan Reynolds led me to Rob McElhenney.
I thought of him too.
Okay, and then
Why did Ryan Reynolds lead you to Rob McElhenney?
because of Wrexham.
Okay, what's Wrexham? Nobody knows what that is.
Ryan and Rob are good friends, and they bought a Wales soccer team.
Yes.
And there's a documentary on
I think it's
FX. It's called Welcome to Wrexham. Anyway, so
Yes.
that's why
The connection.
There's the connection. But ultimately, I landed on Charlie Day.
That's exactly who I picked. Oh my gosh. What the heck?
because, and the more I thought about it, he's perfectly suited for the role.
Why?
His ability to do physical comedy, I think, and I could just picture him on that ladder,
Doing
in
the
the attic,
arm.
having doing the arm thing. I could see the boards hitting him in the head while he's in the attic, and I just think Charlie Day would be a perfect person to play it.
I agree with that, especially because I think that he also has an earnestness that would go along with how much like Clark loves Christmas and how much he loves putting the lights on and all of that. And I think that he has that similar tone.
Yeah, he has a lot of enthusiasm.
Yeah, exactly.
And it would go a long way in playing that role.
Well, that's exactly why I didn't think Rob McElhenney would work, because it's like he would definitely have that cynicism, like
He doesn't have
part,
the-
but he doesn't
the
have the
wholesomeness.
earnestness.
Yes.
Yeah. Tom, did you think of somebody else?
He's probably a little old now, but Will Ferrell I think would have been a good one at some point.
So, actually, Will Ferrell was the first one that popped into my head.
Yeah.
And I think he could do a great job. But
April, enough.
I didn't know if Will Ferrell was. I thought you wanted somebody closer in time to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And Will
yeah.
Ferrell's been around a long time,
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
that's why I went away from Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
I think
Nick
that's fair.
Offerman was another one that came to mind.
That would have been interesting.
Yeah. I don't know if he can do the physical comedy as
Yeah,
much, but
I don't see him doing the physical comedy as much. Will Ferrell, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, he's wonderful in Daddy's Home too.
That is true. Maybe a Parks and Rec era Chris Pratt
maybe,
would
yeah.
work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right.
But I think Charlie.
But also
Day's
at the same
one.
time, the Ellen role could be Amy Poehler.
That's true. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like the Ellen role, you would need someone who is more, not to say Amy Poehler's not elegant, but someone who is a little, I don't know, more kind of classic drama actress that just has comedy chops.
Was she a drama actress, Beverly D'Angelo?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Amy Poehler, I think, is a little too sarcastic
That's
for
what-
Yeah.
that role.
Yeah, I can
Right.
see that.
Yeah. I like, you want somebody who's going to be the like devoted wife who's secretly really funny
Yes.
on the side. And I don't think that would be, I think
Okay.
Amy Poehler would be too obviously funny.
Yeah,
Like she would steal the show a little bit.
right.
I don't know. Maybe like a Mila Kunis or something. Because I'm thinking The Spy Who Dumped Me. I like that movie. That might work.
Nobody knows what The Spy Who Dumped Me is either.
Everybody knows The Spy Who Dumped Me. Okay. At what point would you have kicked out Cousin Eddie?
As soon as he drove up in that RV,
It would have been a no.
just
You gotta go.
get back in, get going.
You wouldn't feel an obligation because it's your wife's sister's family. So you're not really the one in charge. It's your wife's family.
Look out, Uncle Jim.
It's literally, you would kick out Uncle Jim like that?
Not Uncle Jim,
Because they're close and they're
but
not
you know-
living across the country.
but there are certain relatives who, if they rolled up in front of my house, I'd say keep going.
Oh my god, that is so funny. All right, well let's say you did say, all right, fine, they can stay. What Uncle Eddie mishap is the worst one? Which one is it like, okay, that is really, really, really bad? I
Well,
mean,
he committed a crime.
The dumping of the
Well, that
the waste is
sewage.
bad.
He committed
The
multiple
waste
crimes.
is pretty bad. The
Yeah.
kidnapping is pretty bad.
well, that didn't happen until the very end.
wouldn't have made it that far.
Yeah, that's true.
He wouldn't have made
To
it.
me, one of the egregious things is he just keeps putting his own stuff in the cart at the store for Clark to buy. Or when he eats Aunt Bethany's Jello with the cat poop in it.
Or when he breaks the little the little candle thing
Oh
right in the beginning,
my God.
right?
Yes.
He talks about his kids, at the carnival.
Cousin Eddie he's a problem.
A disaster.
Well, that leads me to, I don't know. I think Cousin Eddie actually has a lot of screen time. But there's a ton
But he's not in the movie until like a half hour in.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not one of my favorite characters at all.
Who's your favorite side character?
Okay. It's a duo. It's
Aunt Bethany.
Aunt
Yeah,
Bethany and
yeah,
Uncle Lewis. I mean,
Yeah.
my God, they steal those scenes.
Absolutely.
And they're a whole. And what I love about this movie is really like you go from one segment to the next with a whole nother comedic setup.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah.
I mean, you go and it's just one after the other, and then you transition to when Uncle Lewis and Aunt Bethany show up, and you have a whole new thing set up.
Yeah, that is true. They don't show up until
it's
like
great.
the end, the last scene.
Right.
It is kind of interesting. I've noticed while doing this podcast that a lot of movies have a final setting that most of the movie takes place in. Not most, but like a big percentage. Like Christmas Eve dinner takes up a lot of that movie. Just like in Scream, like that final house is like 40 minutes long.
Yeah.
Jamie Lee Curtis in Halloween, like that last thing in that house is like a big chunk of the movie. So it's kind of interesting that is the case.
You just compared this with two slasher horror movies.
In another world, Christmas Vacation could have turned into that. I agree. The correct answer is Aunt Bethany.
Yeah, I agree.
What's my favorite Aunt Bethany thing?
She wrapped up her cat.
That's so I think
I like when she asks Ellen if she's still dating Clark.
you're still dating Clark.
Is Rusty still in the Navy?
Yeah, Rusty was like 11.
I like your new house.
Yeah.
Is this a new house?
Yeah, this house is bigger than your old one.
Yeah.
Of course, the Star Spangled Banner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pledge of Allegiance.
But you got to give it to Lewis too. He sets the tree on fire,
True.
which was and the whole cat
He just
getting
smokes a
electrocuted,
stogie the
just
whole
smokes a
time.
stogie the whole time.
That is true. I don't know.
I just see him as a duo.
Yeah, they just put them together. Tom, do you have another side character you like?
No.
Oh.
I mean that I like, yeah, but like they're by far my favorites.
Yeah.
I wish that Doris Roberts got more to do.
I know.
That's one complaint I have.
Yeah, the grandparents, the cast there was stacked.
Yes, insanely stacked.
And they just weren't as goofy as some
Yeah,
of the other characters
They got
are.
the show stolen
A little
by Aunt
bit.
Bethany and Uncle Lewis.
Yeah, for sure. I also like Snots because he's super snotty.
Yes.
He's filled with snot.
Can I ask one of my questions? What would happen if April met Snots
They'd get along.
in his prime?
I mean, April might be a little scared of Snots.
Would he be? I think he might be scared of her.
You think?
Yeah.
I don't know.
She's nuts.
All I know is it would make for an even more chaotic Christmas Eve meal. That's not good. Something that I will say though, I really loved Beverly D'Angelo upon this viewing. I've seen this movie like a billion times, and this one, she like kind of is the anchor of the whole thing.
Yeah, she's yeah.
Because
From like a plot perspective and like a story perspective, I think she's the best character.
well, she also brings Clark kind of down to earth and makes him more likable.
He's less of a caricature.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's just a guy who like, oh, he's a family man. He loves his wife. He's like, she tolerates his crazy.
He gets hit in the face so much that it's hard to take him seriously without her backing him up.
Yeah. He has probably 6 or 7 concussions.
I counted at least 8 concussions.
Okay, well, speaking of, you have to pick one funniest scene. One.
It's easy for me.
Yours is the squirrel.
No.
Yours is the attic.
It's the attic. To this day, I just watched it earlier this week. I still laughed out loud when he gets hit the third time with the board.
It's
just
three
keeps walking
times.
back and
Three
forth.
times.
And then I love when he puts the gloves on and the hat and
it's
the
so
little
funny.
shawl, and he finds the film,
Yeah.
and then Ray Charles
Yes.
song comes on,
Yes.
and he watches the film, and of course Beverly comes in and pulls the attic down in the
Falls
hole.
through.
And I love how they just cut away.
Yeah.
They don't show him falling; they just show him going, and then cut.
Yeah.
They cut.
Yeah. I I appreciate that scene because it's a good mix of the physical humor with the sentimentality that you come to expect from holiday films. That I agree. I really like that scene. I think that the best scene is at the end, though. I just think that is just like it just dissolves into
Total chaos.
And I love that. And Aunt Bethany is just like enjoying
Just
her
loving the whole
evening.
Just loving the entire thing.
Do you have a funny scene?
The ending is my favorite as well.
It's so good. And when he like loses it and
I
curses.
also love the beginning with the car scene in the beginning. I was legitimately impressed.
Yeah.
I was legitimately impressed by like the like stunts that they were doing.
And the writing's very, very funny in that scene.
I just love the whole scene with the truck where
Yeah.
all of a sudden he's under the truck. And then I love how they carry it through to when he gets it home and the tree's enormous and he cuts it and it goes through the window and all that stuff. And then at night,
A lot of sap.
when they're in bed.
Yeah, and then it's
And
the
then he
sticky.
reaches over, he gets her hair, and the light comes, and it's stuck to his hand.
He's
from
like
all
pulling
the
the
sap.
magazine pages out.
Yeah, right.
Yes, it is very funny.
Love that.
That's great. All right, this is a big one. This is a big question. Besides Julia Louis-Dreyfus and Chevy Chase, who do you think is the most successful career-wise after this movie? There are many, many, many famous people in this movie.
This is not counting people who were successful before this, like Aunt Bethany, who was Olive Oil, and Betty Boop also.
Well, that's the thing. I think I messed up the question, but I have to stick with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she said post.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because, I mean,
because-
you have E.G. Marshall, you have Diane Ladd.
Yeah.
So you took the obvious one out.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In my opinion, she is the most accomplished out of anybody in that movie.
Oh, I agree. By far,
By far.
she is probably like
I put her on the Mount Rushmore.
of TV actors
Yes.
for sure.
Yeah.
She won Emmys for 3 separate TV shows.
Yeah.
Like that's wild. We've in the past have tried to like think of others who have had 3 super successful TV shows.
She has 9 Emmys total.
Like that's wild.
6 SAG Awards and a Golden Globe.
Like, can you think of people that are that successful?
And I mean, she's real. She's one of the best ever at TV, but I don't think she did enough film work because the movie she was in with James Gandolfini.
Enough said.
She was wonderful.
I
in
love that movie.
Guess what? She's working with that director
Nicole
for
Holofcener.
this year. Sundance just picked
nice.
up
Okay.
a movie
Yeah.
by that director, and she's in it. So
Yeah.
yeah. She was just in Marvel stuff, so she's doing some movies. But yeah, I agree. Enough said. It was so good, and I wish she did more movies.
So you had to take her out of the question because that was an obvious answer.
yes,
So I came down on 2 people. Now I know the sister
Juliette Lewis.
She did a lot of movies. I'm not really familiar with that with her work in the movies.
She was an Oscar nominee.
But
For what?
I don't know. I just have that she was. I'll look it up.
I know her from Natural Born Killers.
yeah.
She's in Yellow Jackets as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
She has quite a list of movies that she's been in. But Doris Roberts had
5 Emmys.
I mean, y'all know her from Raymond, but she was also on Remington Steele. She had a big part there. So she's great, but I probably have to go with Galecki.
Yes.
I mean,
Yo, shout out Galecki Hive, rise up.
Yes.
he had
Galecki gang.
he had the stint on Roseanne.
Yep.
And then of course he had the huge hit with A Big Bang Theory.
Bazinga.
Yep.
I'm not saying he's my favorite,
Right.
but he was very successful as well.
That's a good answer. I wonder, did he win an Emmy for Big Bang Theory? I don't even think he.
I don't know.
I know that it was all about
I know the show won.
the show one stuff. Yeah.
Juliette Lewis was nominated for Best Supporting Actress for Cape Fear.
Oh, she was the daughter in Cape Fear.
Yep.
Yeah, the remake.
Scorsese
De Niro.
was the villain, and Nick Nolte's the dad.
Yes.
which is funny. I feel like it would.
You would think it would be the other
opposite.
way. Yeah.
I'll tell you who wasn't the most
wasn't?
successful for sure
Randy
after
Quaid.
this. Chevy Chase.
Oh yeah.
He was in Community.
Yeah, and then
And
Until
they
he
got
got
kicked
until he
off.
got himself kicked off after like 2 seasons. And you know, I like to Christmas Vacation is it's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
But a lot of his other work, I'm not a fan. Like Fletch, I thought
don't
that
like
sucked. Nah, thought it sucked.
Fletch sucked.
sucked.
You heard it here first.
this podcast hates Fletch.
Yeah. You know, Vacation was funny. It was okay, but I do love Caddyshack.
Yeah.
I think he was great in that. But you know.
Okay, well, how would you rank him among his co-stars on Saturday Night Live? Was he one of the original cast?
I'm just circling back real quick. Johnny Galecki was nominated for an Emmy for
Thank
Big
you.
Bang Theory.
Thank you very much. Would you count him among the best of the early players? Or
Yes. Yeah,
oh, okay.
Yeah, I would.
You
I mean,
give him his flowers where they're due.
Yeah, I will.
We messed up
So-
again.
So I would like to say something.
Uh-oh.
When my agent booked me on this show, I was promised the best technology, the best production, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, and guess what? It
And guess
failed.
what?
You need a new agent.
I gotta fire my agent.
I need to know who the agent is. That's the real question. Okay.
I think it's Mickey.
Mickey, oh my God.
Yeah.
he's everywhere, man. So, all right, you were talking about Chevy Chase. You thought Fletch sucked.
Down
Yes.
with Fletch.
Yes.
And I remember. And you talked about how you think that someone in a similar start, Bill Murray, for Saturday Night Live, that he's had his longevity of his career has been much better than Chevy Chase's.
Yes. Chevy has his lane, the physical comedy, but Bill Murray demonstrated over his career a greater range in his acting ability, in my opinion, and I think ultimately should be considered a more successful actor.
I think he definitely is. at this
What
point,
are your top 2 or 3 Bill Murray projects?
Well, Caddyshack's great, but Bill Murray had a bit part in Caddyshack.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, he and Chevy Chase, as we previously discussed, did not get along.
No.
They actually brought Bill Murray in, and over 3 days, he shot all his scenes, and they did what they could to keep him and Chevy Chase separated
Good idea.
during that period of time. And actually, if I remember correctly, the Bill Murray part was supposed to be a very small part, but when they saw what he was doing with
good.
it, the producers or directors or whoever were like, we got to figure something out here.
Yeah.
And it became a much bigger part.
Okay.
Was it St. Vincent?
So good.
Melissa
McCarthy's in that.
Yeah, that's a great movie. Lost in Translation is a good movie.
I got one. Ready?
Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters. Oh yeah, of course.
Ghostbusters, Stripes.
How about A Very Merry Christmas?
Oh, I love that.
And we didn't mention that during the first recording.
Yeah, I gotta watch that again.
Which
That's
is
a great-
known to us for that Pogue song, Fairy Tale New York.
Tale New York. I had never heard it before. Now I listen to it every Christmas.
Yes,
It's
yes.
an
It has a
awesome
very
song.
awful slur in it, but besides that, it's an amazing
Yes,
song.
it does.
They don't say it in
Yes,
A Very
it
Merry
does.
Christmas though.
Yes, it does.
But that's a great Christmas
Yeah.
song. It's a very famous British Christmas song,
Yes.
but in the U.S., it's Irish. I think.
It's
Irish.
not British. It's Irish.
But it's famous in England,
Yeah.
and but it's Very Merry Christmas brought it to the Stockhouse household.
Yes. Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, and I know we were talking about you had asked a question about the SNL actors,
Yes.
and we mentioned that with Belushi we just don't know how far he could have gone.
Yeah, because we got Animal House and Blues Brothers, really. Is
Yeah,
the big
which
ones.
2 great movies, but as I said, we lost him early, and then that gets us on to Chris Farley.
Yeah.
And I think that Chris Farley, I enjoy Chris Farley more than John Belushi, and I think that he would have actually done better than John Belushi had he been able to stick around a little bit longer. Tommy Boy, I just love that movie. It's just fantastic.
Fat guy in a little coat.
He was truly insane in Billy Madison too.
Yeah, Billy Madison. He was the bus driver, bit part, but so funny. And then, I mentioned before he was the original voice of Shrek, and it would have been interesting to see what his career would have been like post. Like Shrek blockbuster that it was, and I'm sure it would have been, very successful with him as the lead, instead of Mike Myers, who also did amazing at the role.
They died the same age too, Chris Farley and
Belushi.
They're both 33.
That's
wow.
wild. How old was John Candy when he died?
Older than that.
Yeah.
He died of a heart attack.
Yes.
Yeah. Because I think of John Candy kind of in that vein too, even though he wasn't on SNL. He was 43. He was on the Canadian SNL, SCTV.
Yes. Yeah.
Which had Eugene Levy and Catherine O'Hara.
Yes.
Yeah.
Among others.
Among many others. All right, cool. So let me see here. So okay, we talked about the people who had good careers, right? And I don't know how far we got into it, but you did mention Johnny Galecki.
If it made it, I'm gonna edit this out anyway, so
perfect.
We can go through it.
So Johnny Galecki was in Roseanne, Big Bang Theory, and we know he was nominated for an Oscar for Big Bang Theory.
An Emmy.
An Emmy. No, it was so good that they said, you know what?
We're gonna bend the rules this one time.
We're gonna get you nominated for an Oscar instead.
And in 2018, he was the second highest paid male TV star.
Yeah, after
behind
old
Jim
Sheldon.
Parsons. Yeah, old Sheldon. Bazinga.
You still watch Young Sheldon, don't you?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's just okay.
Yeah, you watched Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, I enjoyed Big Bang Theory.
Did you know that like it's seen as like this like lame boomer show? Like when it was on, people were like, "Oh my god, Big Bang Theory."
Yeah, I don't care. I really don't care.
Who was your favorite in Big Bang Theory?
We did not get into this in our last
I
recording.
need to know. The people are clamoring. Howard's mom. Wait, that reveals that I watched Big Bang Theory?
Yeah.
No, cut it.
No, this is staying in.
It's truly an ensemble cast.
It really is,
You know, so there's not one that, particularly stands out. That's kind of asking, like, who's your favorite character on Seinfeld?
It's Elaine or George.
And they're equal quality, Seinfeld and...
Yeah, or Kramer.
No, not Kramer.
Or George's dad.
Oh, yeah, definitely
You know,
George
I mean,
is that.
That's my point. It's just, what episode is it?
Yeah, that
You know
is.
what I mean? It can vary episode to episode.
Oh, yeah. Galecki Hive, man.
Yes, Galecki gang.
We love you, Galecki heads.
Yeah, now don't make me into a big Johnny Galecki fan here. You asked me the question, and I had to give an answer.
We have the number one Galecki stan on the podcast right now.
Yeah. I wasn't allowed to give my real answer, which was Louise Dreyfus.
Well, yeah, of course. She's number one, like the best TV actress or TV actor of all time.
Yeah.
Who would beat her? The only person, I mean, like, okay, so what? Betty White, maybe?
Katie Seagal's in her stratosphere.
Katie Seagal.
But not quite.
Look, I know everybody loves Betty White. Okay.
R.I.P. to
Oh,
my
no.
queen.
We're gonna have Golden Girls slander on this podcast right now.
Okay, and she's great and all, but
Said I'm a Blanche kind of guy.
Rue.
she had a bit part in Mary Tyler Moore.
Oh, shoot. We're getting into it.
Okay,
Okay.
and then she had a
Bit part. She was a series regular.
and then she was an ensemble cast on Golden Girls.
Who's the best Golden Girl? Dorothy.
B. Arthur.
Yeah.
Yeah, the actress Dorothy.
How about B. Arthur?
She was Maude.
She was Maude.
Yeah, she had some scene some
All in the Family.
time in All in the Family,
Yeah.
which led to Maude.
Yeah.
And then that led to well, Golden Girls. Let me finish my thought on
Betty
White.
Let him finish slandering Betty
this is
White.
our bashing Betty White segment.
So then Betty White got, the part on
He's in his bag right now.
Hot in Cleveland or whatever the hell that show
Pretty
was.
good show.
He's bringing up TV Land originals.
So she was part of an ensemble cast there, but she got, she got the great publicity because she was 90 years old.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
made it.
Yeah. Older than sliced bread.
So I like Betty White. She's fine, but she's not in Julia's class.
She was
Okay.
the first woman to produce a sitcom. Life with Elizabeth.
Okay. All right. Well, what about B. Arthur then?
Yeah, no, none of the people that we've mentioned are up to Julia Louis-Dreyfus's level.
No. I mean, as much as I loved her in Seinfeld, and much as I loved her in what's
Veep.
the one? No,
Old
no,
Christine.
no. Old Christine. Veep is a masterpiece.
Veep is great.
And we talked, I don't know if we talked earlier or we talked later that didn't get on about the cursing.
Oh,
I think later.
Later.
Okay. Well, Veep.
Yeah.
Oh my God. They take it to an art form.
Yes.
Yes. And her character in that,
Selena Meyer.
just Selena Myers, the way she uses
her colorful language.
her colorful language in Veep is just
Hilarious.
It's hilarious.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So you know what? We'll go with Galecki then.
Yes.
Well, you know what? Let's go to because that's literally my next question. So,
What's your favorite Johnny Galecki role?
no. It's Darlene's boyfriend in Roseanne.
Yes.
So this movie you watched on HBO, but in the past you've watched it on like Fox Family or like whatever and DVR it and go through it. There are definite differences when you watch it on a kind of cable TV version versus our now like crazy great streaming version, which is basically how the movie's meant to be seen. Do you think that this movie loses a little something with the censored TV version?
Yes.
And we talked about it being the cursing, right?
Yes.
So talk a little bit about that.
I'm not someone who appreciates gratuitous swearing in a movie or a TV show, but properly placed language to emphasize a point. I think it really enhances it. And I hate when I'm watching a movie that's been censored and their lips are moving and it's clearly not what they're saying, and then you go, "Oh my God, that voice! Like that's not his voice." I hate when they put stuff in there and they make up nonsensical parts that that's not what they're saying.
Yeah.
And and it's not how the writers of the movie intended it to be seen.
It's a darn shame.
So
It is. We mentioned The Big Lebowski as one of those where they just completely filmed
a
different movie almost.
It's a different screenplay.
Yes. Including one line that became a Phoebe Bridgers album title where they say, a stranger, have you ever found a stranger in the Alps? And that's
not what it
not
is.
the original line. What is it?
The original line is
No, not the original line. What's the new line?
No, the original line is when Walter's bashing the car. Remember when he goes to the kid's house and
John
the kid,
Goodman?
yeah,
Yeah.
and the
Of
kid like
Roseanne fame?
yes, and the kid like won't admit that he took the rug or whatever.
Yeah.
And he goes out and he bashes like the really nice car, and he says, "This is what happens when you F a stranger."
Yeah. I
in the
got
ass."
you. Yeah.
And the clean line is, "This is what happens when you find a stranger in the Alps."
It doesn't make any sense.
It makes no sense.
But it's kind of iconic.
Yeah.
So then Phoebe Bridgers made it her Stranger in the Alps, her debut album. And you're right, it does sound so
It
mysterious.
sounds mysterious and thoughtful.
Yeah, but no, it's
No,
a Big Lebowski
it's from TBS.
redo. I love that. Yeah, I hate that.
So, all that being said, I understand you can't put it on ABC
Right.
or
No.
NBC
No,
or
probably not.
And then so many fewer people get to see it.
Exactly. I get it. And
Yeah.
listen, Christmas Vacation for a kid to watch it it doesn't need the curse words
Right.
in
No,
it to
it
be
doesn't.
funny.
Yeah.
It just doesn't.
Yeah.
So I understand it, but
There's enough Chevy Chase getting hit in the
yeah,
face to make
but
kids laugh.
I enjoy it more when it's the uncensored version.
Totally. Love that. Okay. So besides A Very Murray Christmas, what was the last good Christmas movie? And we have confirmed that by last good Christmas movie, I mean most recent. Not last good one you saw. Most recent.
Yes. Yeah. So for the audience's clarification,
We also decided to exclude Daddy's Home too.
Yes.
Elf was taken off the shelf
Yep.
because it was not a most recent one.
Yes.
Daddy's Home 2, I was told I couldn't say because it's not a most recent one.
Enough Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
But hey, Mel Gibson's awesome in that movie.
Oh my God.
Him and John Lithgow were perfectly cast.
They actually were.
Just
Yeah.
fantastic.
Unfortunately, they really
Yes.
were.
Just
Not Lithgow. I like Lithgow.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with Lithgow.
What the heck was I talking about?
Most recent.
Oh, most
favorite
recent. Okay.
Christmas movie.
So, Christmas Chronicles.
Yes.
Right.
It stars Kurt Russell.
Yes.
Goldie Hawn is in it. Little Stevie's in it.
We love our Van Zant.
It's it's just a cute, funny
Who
Christmas music with good music in it.
Does Kurt Russell sing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Does Little Stevie play the guitar?
Yes.
Oh, is he an elf?
No. Kurt Russell's in jail. And, yeah, Santa's in jail. Oh, I gave it away. It's a band that's in jail, and they play in jail and sing.
That's cute.
It's like Chicago.
It's very funny.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
Yeah.
PG Chicago.
Yeah.
That's all right. I have to watch it. I've never watched Christmas Chronicles
1 or 2.
Christmas Chronicles 2, and
Apparently, there's a
big and without any following.
yeah.
For one in Christmas Chronicles 3.
Unfortunately, there has yet to be an announcement for Christmas Chronicle 3, but the website that I read said, "Don't worry, there still could be a Christmas Chronicles 3."
Oh, that's really good to know.
They must be getting my letters.
Yes.
Oh my
yes.
God. Yeah, exactly. I try to watch, the biggies, although I didn't see Christmas Chronicles and I didn't see some of the big ones this year, like Spirited was one. You didn't really like that.
Was that the Will Ferrell?
Ryan Reynolds.
It got better.
It got better.
It got better. I got better. It was a very slow start, and I think part of the problem for me was, oh my God, Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell are seriously singing and dancing.
Yeah.
And so it took me a little time to get that into focus,
Sure.
and then
Should have cast Corden.
the second hour, it picked up.
Yeah.
What about the third hour?
It was
No,
good.
I'm
Oh
just
my
kidding.
God!
No, I'm just
Imagine
kidding.
like a 4-hour long Avatar movie.
mini-
No,
Miniseries.
that was Batman, whatever it was.
The
The
Batman.
Batman.
The Batman. 4 hours of a rainstorm. That was what that movie was.
Oh my God, that's because you don't go to see movies anymore. So like you had
No,
to sit still.
no. I liked the Batman, and it was too long.
Yeah.
The last half hour was totally unnecessary.
I grabbed my coat 3 times to get up, and it wasn't done.
Was that the last movie you saw in theaters?
Yeah, I think so.
And then before that was what, like Belfast?
No, Belfast was after that.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, Belfast was the last one.
Belfast was before.
Belfast was before?
It was before.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Belfast was last year.
Yeah.
Batman was this year?
Yeah.
The Batman?
The
Oh my God.
Batman, comma the.
Batman, the. I did not watch Christmas Chronicles. I liked Love Hard from last year. That was cute. The Holiday was cute. That's Emma Roberts. I don't know if you saw that.
No.
You probably wouldn't like it very much. My mom definitely watched it. She watches like everything that ever came out on Netflix.
Oh my God, our DVR is just friggin' full of Hallmark.
Infested.
Every one of them's on there.
You did see Falling for Christmas.
I did.
Did you like it?
It was cute.
Yeah,
It
I
was
liked
cute.
it too. I thought it was good.
I like Lindsay Lohan.
She's
She
so
was-
the best.
good.
She's the best.
She was good. A lot of it was
Yeah, you get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
like pretty stupid plot.
What do you think about Tom's conspiracy theory that Alejandro was in on it and knew that Sierra was famous and wanted the money?
Yeah, possible.
I mean, nobody's poked a hole in it yet.
It's possible.
So pretty
Well,
good.
how does he not know it's her? He bumped into her and he
Yeah,
spilled hot
That's
chocolate
exactly
on her.
what
I
we
said I would have
said.
been embarrassed for the rest
Right
of my
in the
life if
beginning.
I did that.
And then, like, he didn't recognize her?
And she looks like Lindsay Lohan.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so don't watch that movie. Stupid.
So I don't know if I mentioned this in the if it carried over before Tom messed up and the
This is actually the first time that it was not my fault.
Oh, okay. So we do have some
Yeah,
iconic.
let-
He's
let's
gonna
check.
check and make sure it's still going.
Okay.
Okay, good. We do have some great voice actors here. So Aunt Bethany played Olive Oil from Popeye, which I like. She must have been so old. Like, how old do you have to be to originate olive oil?
Do we know she originated?
No.
I assume she
No,
originated.
we don't do facts on this podcast. And
Don't look it up.
Betty Boop. She was Betty Boop. So what did Betty Boop? Doesn't she just go? Oh,
She was basically kind of how she talked in the movie.
Yeah.
Like when she
Yeah,
was
yeah.
yeah.
Clark's boss, Bill Murray's brother, Brian Doyle Murray. He was the Flying Dutchman on SpongeBob. So if you're a SpongeBob fan,
Yes.
who isn't? And then Uncle Lewis was Dr. Finkelstein in The Nightmare Before Christmas. I don't know what that means, but I'm sure many of you do.
Yeah.
And the
We've got nightmare heads out there.
aunt, who was the cousin? Cousin Catherine?
Hmm?
Catherine, was that the cousin? Cousin Eddie's wife?
Sure. Go with Catherine.
She
Yeah, it was Catherine.
Catherine was the grandma in Land Before Time.
Oh yeah, right.
Grandma Longneck, I think her name was.
Yes. Littlefoot's grandma.
Littlefoot's grandma. You know that one of the dinosaur girls was murdered from Land
In real
Before
life?
Time? Yeah, she was like 5.
Damn.
Major downer. And then Todd, Christopher Guest's brother, he does a lot of voice acting.
And also, because he's Christopher Guest's brother, he's Jamie Lee Curtis's brother-in-law.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Did you know that Christopher Guest has been married to Jamie Lee Curtis for like 40 years?
I did not.
Yeah. Yeah. And we found out in the last recording that Daddy meant the voice of the subway guy, not Jared, the
No.
real New York subway.
Yes.
Yeah, I actually did in on a ride back to the airport in Bermuda. I asked the guy what he did for a living, and he said he was a voiceover guy. And I asked him, I said, would I know anything that you've done? And he said, have you ever been to New York City? I said, yes. And then he said, arriving at platform J, the 422 to Brooklyn. And it's like, oh my God, you're the subway guy.
But not Jared, not that subway
This subway guy has aged much better than Jared.
Yes.
I really want to meet the watch the tram car, please,
Yes,
lady from
yes.
Wildwood. Wonder where she is.
Something tells me she's no longer with us.
Maybe not. The last thing that I have before I ask you for questions, Tom, is, and you for questions too, Daddy. I don't think you have any questions.
I just got answers.
This is not a question, it's more of a comment. I really like the slogan to this movie. It is "You'll crack up." You'll Y-U-L-E. You'll, as an audience member, crack up with laughter, and Clark will crack up with crazy.
It's like you'll crack up, but it's also you'll crack up.
Yeah.
It's a double
Yeah.
entendre.
Yo, it depends on how you put the emphasis.
Yeah.
It's a you'll crack up, but you'll crack up.
Yep.
That's good stuff.
And I think this is where I previously mentioned that one of my favorite parts is the animation
Yes.
in the beginning, along with the song, the intro song.
Is it called Christmas Vacation?
Yeah.
And it's by
Mavis
not
Staples.
Darlene Love.
I could have sworn it was Darlene Love, and I was wrong. It's Mavis Staples. But as I pointed out, Darlene would crush it.
Darlene would have done it well.
Now,
She would've done it
Darlene
proud.
Love, if you don't know her, watch the documentary 6 Feet from Stardom. She's a featured person on that. She's an awesome singer.
Yes, and she also does Christmas Time for the Jews on SNL.
Yes, and she did a lot of other Christmas songs too.
Yeah.
And then Mavis Staples have now like collabs with Hosier a lot
And Run the Jewels.
and Run the Jewels randomly.
Yeah.
She does a lot of collaboration. I think she did one with Chris Stapleton.
Yeah, I think you're right.
yeah.
And she, if you are into documentaries, her start with her family band was in Summer of Soul, which was about it was Questlove did it, and it was sort of a Harlem Woodstock is what they kind
And
of
it was
called
like
it.
almost like they just played the whole thing. It wasn't like there was no like talking heads. There was nothing like that, right? I don't think
There
so.
were talking heads.
Were there?
But it was a lot. Basically, the footage from this festival, which happened I think it was like every weekend all summer.
It was.
And there was footage that was lost for 50 years.
It was to cool down after the riots, I think, happened.
Yeah.
And they wanted to like do something that was positive.
And it was awesome.
Yeah.
And so Questlove was able to get it made into a documentary, and it rocks. And Mavis Staples is in it.
Oddly enough, I don't think Mavis Staples has collaborated with Vince Staples.
No, I
No.
don't think. Do you know
I
who
mean-
Vince Staples is?
No.
Oh,
He's like
Vince
a pretty-
Staples was in Abbott Elementary. I think
Was
he
he?
was Gregory's friend. In
Oh,
line.
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This past episode.
Yeah. I mean, that's somebody that she would collaborate with too.
Yeah,
Like he's right in her
why not?
sphere of, yeah.
Yeah, but you're right. Mavis Staples sang the song to Christmas Vacation, which I don't think gets its due on Christmas holiday stations.
No.
You never hear it.
No.
They probably have
no.
to pay somebody to play
Yeah,
it, whether it's
yeah.
like
And
National Lampoon or
you
whatever.
know, it just makes me smile when I hear it.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as I hear that beginning of that song, it just puts me in a good
You're
place.
just thinking of Chevy Chase getting hit by planks
3
50
times.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Tom, with your question connected to this, because we know you
my
got one.
okay, yeah. So my question was, I basically said that more movies need an extended animated opening sequence.
Mm-hmm.
If you could add an animated opening sequence to any movie, what would it be?
Yes, and you had an answer.
Yes, Caddyshack.
Yes. Which is in the similar vein as this. That would be, you could do the Gopher, you could have like a caricatured Bill Murray and everybody. You could have the whole crew in there. You could totally do the whole thing.
Yeah.
Ted Knight.
Yeah.
He's a
Yep.
perfect caricature
Yep.
of him.
I changed my answer.
Aaron had a different lane.
No, I thought you go really sad, and then I talked about the movie Amore, but like 2 people have seen the movie Amore.
Yeah.
Didn't someone we know buy it though by accident?
Alex probably.
Alex bought it by accident. So now he's this like,
like-
really sad French film.
The absolute saddest movie I've ever seen in my life.
I can't make fun of Alex.
No, you accidentally bought Despicable Me 2
Yes.
for $25.
Yes.
That's at least an accidentally better, less, more lighthearted purchase.
It goes along with his Minion shirt, so
Yeah,
it works.
exactly.
So I think I would choose The Sixth Sense, but it would be a spoiler. So like it would just be ghosts. And it would be ghosts singing. And then you're like, what?
Yeah.
What is going on? And then it would be The Sixth Sense.
You'd have to put that at the end of the film.
All right. Yeah. You know what? Let's do that. Have an ending.
Yeah.
Oh, and that is also one of your claims to fame.
Oh, absolutely. It hit me.
He guessed it, the ending.
Yep, absolutely.
I did not. And I was so mad because I knew there was a twist. And like 10-year-old me was like, but I cried at the end because it was really sad. I thought it was really sad.
Listen, I have not rewatched the movie.
It's really good.
So I don't know if it holds up.
It does. It does.
But I gotta tell you, that was a fantastic movie. Like,
It is so
It
good.
was so friggin' good.
Shout out Philly. We love
Yeah.
Philadelphia.
It was-
M. Night Shyamalan.
We love M. Night Shyamalan.
yeah, talk about a precipitous fall.
Oh, he's done some. Hey, listen, I'm going to defend my man here. Split rocked.
Yeah. He's one of the guys that when I used to get like $4 tickets to the Sixers games when they were
You
bad,
would see him.
he was always there, and Bismarck was always there. R.I.P.
R.I.P. Bismarck.
But like the crowd would go nuts when M. Night Shyamalan came up on
He
the
gave
screen.
us Sixth Sense. He gave
Yes.
us Unbreakable and
Unbreakable.
Signs.
Old.
It's
Oh,
when you start out
that
that
with Unbreakable
high,
and Sixth Sense. I know.
Unbreakable was great too.
Yeah.
But it's hard.
Yeah.
I get it.
Well, and I
You know.
feel like he felt pressure to keep doing those big twists.
Yeah.
And Signs had a kind of a stupid twist, but it was still cool. And then it was like, oh, we did The Village
Lady
and
in the
Lady in the Water. And it's
Yeah.
like, listen, we love Paul Giamatti,
Yeah.
but like Bryce Dallas Howard, we love you, but don't do that. And then
stop.
The Happening. What?
What?
No.
No. That was Wahlberg.
Yeah, Mark Wahlberg. And then, yeah, it just was not good for a
No,
while.
no.
Split is really good.
Is
though.
it?
is good.
Yeah.
It is. It's
okay.
awesome.
So
you
I
would
heard-
like it. It's really good.
So I heard that the other one is not good.
Oh, like Dr.
Glass.
Dr. Glass or just
Yeah.
Glass. Yeah, and then Old. No.
We still gotta watch Old.
They went to the beach that made them old.
We still gotta watch Old.
Oh yeah, I'm not watching that one.
Oh my god. So
Which
yeah.
had like the girl from Phantom Thread in it. Right?
Yes, yes, exactly. So yeah, I'm gonna say Sixth Sense, but you're right. It has to be at the end, and it's like Bruce Willis and all the other ghosts, like Misha Barton, all dancing.
Yeah.
It's like a happy number at the end. Like they're fine.
Yeah,
they're
just
ghosts. That's my answer.
Yeah. I mean, you could do it. You could do it with something that's a little bit more like off the wall too, like a Scarface.
Yeah.
Like an animated.
Oh, like a cute little baby Scarface.
Yeah, but like he's like driving his stroller through Miami.
That's
and, like,
cute.
He's like buying baby powder
He
off
just
people.
he like really loves baby powder.
He loves baby powder.
Big baby powder fan.
The
exactly.
The Fast and Furious franchise
Yes.
Ooh.
would be excellent for animation with the cars. And
They
whatnot.
should do
100%.
a Fast and Furious and Cars collab.
Whoa.
Lightning McQueen and Vin
Whoa.
Diesel
There
together.
you go.
Mater
Yes.
and Ludacris together.
Yes.
We got it. Our $1
my
million
God.
idea.
Luda the Cable Guy.
Luda the Cable. Did you ever see Cars?
No,
It's actually really good.
is it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
life
it
is
was
a
good.
highway, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Paul Newman's last role.
I'll,
Yes. And his highest grossing movie.
I'm gonna wait to watch that with Connell.
You know what? That's actually
Yeah.
not a bad idea.
Yeah.
He would like that, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. What other questions you got?
Oh yeah. I think I just had like one other one. Let's see here. No, my only other one was what would happen if April met Snots in his prime. I also wrote this specifically to you. We didn't even talk about this in the plot summary, but would you leave me at the house to go shopping with the family if you didn't know where I was?
No. No.
That's what happens in this movie. He's stuck
But
in the
it was
attic.
back in the 80s. It was different back then.
E.G. Marshall has an iconic line when they're walking out to the car. He's like, I got to take my back pills. I have to eat. And as he's shoving
Well, fair
Beverly
enough.
D'Angelo into the car.
Fair
So
enough.
Like,
I
let's
love
face
that.
it. Let's face it. If Aunt Mary is yelling about something, we're just
Yeah.
leaving.
That is
Well,
true.
you know, that's
gotta
what
go.
I'm thinking. Like, you
That is
know,
true.
I could have heard my dad saying that, you know, in
Mhm.
my head, or Aunt Mary, you know,
Yeah.
you know, something like that. So
That's
I thought it was
true.
an iconic line.
Plus, I feel like it's not like it is now. Like, now I would just text you and
Right.
be like, where are you? Like, I feel like it's like, oh, he's probably in the yard somewhere. Like, I wasn't alive in the 80s, but I feel like people just kind of were like, they'll turn
He's
up.
probably somewhere.
He's somewhere.
That's probably why.
Probably there were a lot more serial
I was-
killers back then.
That's exactly what I was about to say. That and DNA. No DNA
Exactly.
analysis.
So do you think the movie holds up?
Yeah, I do, actually. I actually find it to be not offensive. It's just a good movie.
Oh no, it's not offensive at all.
At all. There's nothing in it that you're like, ooh, like, that's not good. At all.
Which is refreshing coming off of Eight Crazy Nights.
Eight Crazy Nights was, whew. And that was made like 1 billion years after that.
Yeah, 13 years later.
Oh my God. Yeah, I think it does hold up. I think that you do have its typical 80s lens, but
Because you know, and again, I attach sentimental feelings to the movie, so my view of it may be skewed, but I still find it funny.
yeah.
I you know, it just puts me in a good place. Some movies I've gone back and watched again. I haven't seen in 20 years. I'm like, oh my God, like what a horrible movie. Now, some hold up. You know, as we said before, Rocky, classic. I could watch it right now. You know, when, that movie came out when I was in
1976.
7th grade, and I remember.
Dang, you're old.
Yeah, I was just. You
You
know,
went to the beach that made him old?
yeah. Well, the reason I remember this is that the first person I knew who saw the movie was Pop George,
Shout out Pop George.
and he talked about it in class, but he wouldn't tell us about the ending.
That's great.
And then we went and saw it, and then Pop got a DVR player.
DVD player? Or-
No,
I'm-
a
Betamax?
VCR.
A VCR, yeah.
He was the first person I ever knew had one.
Of course. He was always like ahead of the curve with
Yeah.
it. He was the first person
And-
that had a computer.
Known
and,
to
like-
be
Yeah.
on the cutting edge of technology.
He was.
No,
He
I know.
always
I know.
was.
I know.
He was, and he got somehow got like a bootleg copy of Rocky.
Of course. Kramer.
And Terrence and I would go over to the house. This is before I was dating mom.
Oh yeah, shout out to the fact that he, like, Pop was his teacher before
And coach.
before he dated Pop's daughter, who is now my mom.
Yeah.
That's very
little
confusing.
background.
Friends with Pop before.
Yes.
Literally.
And I'll bet that we would go over, we'd get some Take a Boost.
Did you just ignore mommy?
No, she brought me to Take a Boost.
The what?
Yeah.
Take a boost.
Yeah, I know.
Pop had a little something stronger than Take a Boost,
Oh,
and we
God.
would pop the Rocky movie in, and I kid you not, I bet we watched it 25 times.
Oh, I bet.
I bet, and it just So anyway, that that's an example of a movie I think has held up. Monty Python, Search of Holy Grail again, one of my favorite movies.
That's one I watched a long time ago and I loved, but I haven't seen it since.
It's so
it's-
stupid.
I know.
It's so
I
funny.
remember like parts
Yeah.
of it, but I got to rewatch it.
Yeah, I love it. And we talked about the fact that I think movies from the 70s hold up much better than movies from the 80s and 90s and even the 2000s. The 2000s with content, because it leaned too much into sentimentality. It leaned too much into like trying to be politically correct, but like in a weird way where
Yeah.
it was just like, oh, it doesn't work. I just think of the movie Crash.
Crash
Like
is
that
so
is
2000s.
so 2000s. The 80s just looked so 80s and grimy and like, but not in a good way. And I don't know.
But I will say that I did enjoy the John Hughes.
John Hughes
Genre.
80s had a like
It was
It's a-
nostalgic.
suburban
Yes,
sheen to
yeah,
it. Yes.
yeah.
But the 70s, I just feel like it came at a time post McCarthyism, with the House of Un-American Activities
Committee.
stuff. Which, if you don't know, that was when like McCarthy,
People
who
were
was a
getting
senator,
blacklisted
people were getting blacklisted
for allegedly being-
alleged communist ties.
Yeah.
You can watch Trumbo or Being the Ricardos about that,
Or Mank.
or none of those.
Or please don't watch any of those movies.
Trumbo was okay.
I liked Mank.
So it was
April.
Hey, April, stop. So
Enough.
it was post that. So they were kind of freed up to do more, but it was pre 1985 when PG-13 movies started. 1984 when PG-13 movies started coming out. So they kind of had this like 10 to 15 year span where they could just do whatever they wanted.
And guess what? A lot of those movies where they did whatever they want were still PG.
Yeah, wild.
Yeah.
And they're so good, but they're also so grimy and like Rocky is like grimy.
What is?
Rocky.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's like it's real Philly,
it's rundown
man.
Philly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. It's so good.
South Philly.
It's South Philly. Shout out Philly all the time.
Yeah, and we watched All the President's Men not too long ago, and it
Yeah.
had like that similar type of.
I did not understand single thing about that movie,
I
but
watched it
Robert
twice.
Redford is so great.
I watched it twice, and I have no clue what happened in Watergate.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea.
It was really good though, and it looked great.
Oh my god.
Dustin Hoffman was also great.
Dustin Hoffman is great.
Not Gene Hoffman.
Oh my god, yeah, I said Gene Hoffman. I was like, who is that? So Tom, do you have like trivia?
I do, not too much. Especially since it's going to be the second time I've said these. I only have like 2 or 3. Okay, so
April's like throwing up.
okay, so after he was failing to get the Christmas lights to work, Clark decides to take his frustration out on the plastic decorations in the front yard, and Chevy Chase actually broke his finger while he was punching Santa Claus. And so the rest of the scene is him kicking and clubbing the decorations, and
He like karate chops.
it looks
Yes.
a lot more like unhinged when he's doing
I
it
love
that way.
it. It's funnier.
I guess that's probably why they used that take.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because I didn't know that's what happened, but I love when he karate chops the
It's so good.
reindeer. It's great.
It's so funny.
It's like he's got nothing else left. He just has to
Yeah,
just
right.
do
Karate
whatever-
chopping.
Yeah. Then there's a bunch of references to the original Vacation. So the shoes that Cousin Eddie wears are the same ones that.
Who's gonna pick that out?
People who like Vacation,
Oh, they must be crazy shoes.
maybe. The Wally World mugs are in this one, which was
When they drink eggnog, which eggnog is like the grossest sounding
Eggnog.
drink.
Wally World was the destination of the Griswolds in the original Vacation.
Yes.
Also, when Clark and Ellen discuss their concerns over Eddie and Catherine not having any Christmas presents for their kids, Ellen says that Eddie has been out of work for close to 7 years, which would line up with Vacation, 1983, Eddie having been laid off from an asbestos factory.
That is like the perfect exact job I would have thought Eddie would be laid off
factory?
from.
Yeah.
An asbestos
Yeah.
factory.
He definitely would have had to be involved in one of those class action lawsuits later on.
Yeah, Camp Lejeune vibes for sure.
Yeah, no, not Camp Lejeune, the asbestos ones.
What are who are the people? The lawyers, but the one died.
Celino and Barnes.
Celino and Barnes.
Yeah, R.I.P. Barnes died, I think.
I don't know. Do you know who they are?
They're the New York guys.
Yeah, I didn't know who they were.
I think Barnes died. And what was after they were like feuding with each other?
Yeah, it's kind of like the Jaron brothers.
Yeah, right, exactly.
They don't mean business anymore.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Celino Law still exists, which means that Barnes died.
R.I.P. Barnes.
R.I.P. Barnes.
You can't help Cousin Eddie anymore.
Yeah. Celino Law is not doing so well,
Aw.
according to the Buffalo News. But I'm not going to get into it.
Okay.
And then my last trivia. Oh, also, Chris Columbus, who was going to direct
Yes,
this
and
movie
then
but
he
quit
fought
because
Chevy Chase.
yeah, which is a motif throughout Chevy Chase's career. He went on to direct Home Alone, as we talked about a year later.
Yep.
And it earned over 6 times the amount of money Christmas Vacation did. So
That's a lot of money.
Chris Columbus did okay.
What's
for
6
himself.
times 73.3 million? Do it,
42 something.
Wow,
420
420 something.
something,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
Yep, and had a $10 million a smaller budget.
So $15 million budget.
Yeah,
That's very impressive.
yeah. I mean, I wouldn't attribute that to director versus director, but
I don't know, Chris Columbus, good director, man.
Yeah, Home Alone's a great movie. I rewatched it recently. I watched it when it initially came out, and it's something that we as a family never watched.
Never.
a lot of people did. I know that it's like a very popular movie
Yeah.
that families love.
Well,
but I also didn't do that.
Alex, who is my future son-in-law, congratulations.
It's new.
It's new. He said that that was one of his family's go-to, and based on that, I rewatched it, and it held up. It's a good movie.
It's really good.
Joe Pesci's the best.
Joe Pesci's awesome. It has such a good
Is
cast.
Kieran Culkin plays his brother too, right? In that
I think so.
Does he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Succession,
Shout out Succession.
Roman gang.
Yeah, I love Home Alone. I watched it for the first time either last year or the year before. Whenever Kaylee and Alex were in their
the
first
old
floor
apartment,
apartment,
yeah.
that's when I watched
Okay.
it.
Yep.
And I thought it was really good. I thought I was gonna find Kevin super annoying, and I did, but that wasn't a bad thing. You
He
know
was
what I
fine.
mean?
He was precocious.
Yeah.
He risked killing those men a lot of times, but
Yeah, for sure. So I did ask you last time to rank the John Hughes holiday movies.
Yes.
Go ahead and rank them.
can you say what they are?
No, he's gonna do it.
Okay.
Christmas Vacation. Excuse me. Christmas Vacation, number 1.
Yeah.
What was number 2?
Home Alone.
Home Alone, number 2, and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, number 3.
You're just not a fan of Thanksgiving.
I'll be honest, I didn't find that many funny parts in it.
Oh, snap.
The part in the car is funny.
Yeah, where they
You
said,
know.
"What do you think the temperature is?" 1.
No, that's a different. You're talking about when the car explodes.
Yeah,
Oh.
and then they're driving it
Yeah,
afterwards.
yeah.
That's a whole funny bit.
That's funny.
You know,
Those aren't pillows. Is
Those
funny.
aren't
The hotel
pillows. The hotel scene's funny.
I'm just a candy head.
Yeah, I love Steve Martin.
Me too.
I think he's great. I like John Candy too, but it just didn't have enough laughs in it for me.
Not the it factor.
Nah.
Not enough sugar in that pumpkin pie. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
I would rank them the opposite.
Wow. Can you believe that? That's crazy. I don't know how I would rank it. They all are so good. They all rank just below Ferris Bueller's Day Off as far as John Hughes movies are concerned. But then, I literally think that those are, some of his best movies.
You got to watch Uncle Buck. Love Uncle Buck.
All right, I gotta watch Uncle Buck.
Uncle Buck's good. That's a good one. Flipping the pancake with the,
Yep.
with
And
the
I like
shovel.
The Breakfast
Yeah.
Club, of course, is a classic.
Yeah, yeah.
But besides,
Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Great
though.
Outdoors is another pretty good one.
yeah, but Ferris
Summer
Bueller's Day
Rental.
Off.
Yeah.
There's All right, Tom. What else? Is that it?
I have the Ebert review.
Okay.
So
Which, by the way, disagree.
yeah. 2 out of 4 stars. Which I agree with a lot of the stuff that he says here, but I would give it probably 3 out of 4. He says that this isn't the whole review, it's just the tiny, this is like more of the parts that I found interesting. He says everything that can go wrong, everything that can possibly go wrong will of course go wrong, and that includes Clark locking himself in the attic, falling off the roof, and being assaulted by the hillbilly cousin's ravenous hound. There are long stretches in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation when this almost works. The movie is curious in how close it comes to delivering on its material. Sequence after sequence seems to contain all the necessary material to be well on the way toward a payoff, and then it somehow doesn't work. I was disappointed too in how little was done with 2 sets of in-laws and the weirdo uncle and aunt. Maybe because there are simply too many characters for one movie, the in-laws are handled as almost a tour group to be shunted around in the backgrounds of shot after shot or lined up as a quartet to react to Clark's dilemmas. The in-laws are supposed to hate each other, but not much is done with this, and indeed they hardly emerge as individuals. That's not the case with the peculiar old Uncle Lewis and Aunt Bethany, who are gothic caricatures. Hickey, best remembered as the mafia grandfather in Pritzi's Honor, has fun acting both benignly and malevolently peculiar, and Questel, Woody Allen's mother in New York Stories, is his match in every way. And yet the parts don't fit. Maybe the movie's problem is with the director, Jeremiah S. Chechik, a first-timer at feature length, although he has won awards for his TV commercials. The screenplay was written by John Hughes, whose Planes, Trains, and Automobiles was a masterful comedy about 2 travelers trying to find their way home for Thanksgiving. But with the Griswold saga, he seems to set up sequences that Chechik isn't able to make pay off. You have the odd sensation watching the movie that it's straining to get off the ground, but simply doesn't have the juice.
So I have a review of Mr. Ebert's review.
I thought it was just going to be...
Yeah, no, I've thought about it some more, and I want to give a more intelligent response. I don't understand how he can say it doesn't pay off.
I don't agree with that.
I think that they hit all the comic.
The payoffs are
notes.
there, yeah.
The payoffs are there. I think that the, you have to have a house full of family for him to have a fun family Christmas, and the parents and the in-laws I think are necessary. I think that probably what Ebert's maybe alluding to is the expectation of more being delivered because of the star level
Yes.
of the actors.
Yeah.
If they had just been no-name actors who were just
Right.
pieces in the movie, then he wouldn't have had that expectation.
Astute point.
Was Doris Roberts famous at this point?
I don't know,
Yes.
but she should
She
have
was?
been.
Yes.
Oh yeah, she was in that that show, Remington Steele.
All four,
Oh, yeah, right.
All 4
Okay.
were very well-known
Yeah.
known actors and actresses.
I was like very impressed by the caliber of the cast of this movie.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
especially when you consider the fact that it was the 3rd installment of a series.
And the kids grew up to be like really big after that too.
yeah,
Like we talked about.
yeah,
Galecki gang.
absolutely. Galecki gang all day.
Yeah.
Bye, Jim Parsons.
But Rusty was a different, played by a different actor in every movie.
I think Anthony Michael Hall played
Anthony
him once.
Michael
Yeah,
Hall played
yeah,
it
yeah, yeah.
once.
I actually saw who it was.
I forget. There were 3 different actors.
Yeah, there's like I think they replaced the kids like every single time.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool.
In European Vacation, Audrey was Dana Hill and Rusty was Jason Lively.
Okay, don't know. Bye.
Don't watch European Vacation. No, I'm just kidding.
What about in regular Vacation?
It was Anthony Michael Hall and Dana Barron,
Okay,
who was known from
Different Strokes.
National Lampoon's Vacation.
No, that was Dana Plato.
Okay.
She died young. That was sad.
Yes.
I feel like
That
the Different Strokes cast was cursed.
Okay, I'm not going to talk about Different Strokes, but I'm going to talk about National Lampoon's Vacation, and this cast is pretty crazy too.
Okay.
John Candy, Christy Brinkley,
Oh,
Brian
yeah.
Doyle Murray was in that one also. Eugene Levy, Jane Krakowski,
Wow.
Harold Ramis's daughter.
Oh wow, big cast here.
Harold Ramis has an off-screen voice cameo. That's a pretty good cast,
That
too.
is a good cast.
Yeah, it's a solid movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
You know,
I haven't seen it either.
the was it 2015 remake
Yeah.
is not a solid movie, but it has a hysterical scene with Charlie Day in it that I highly recommend people go to YouTube and watch it, with him as a
Like a river guy.
river guide in a ray. I'm just laughing thinking about it. It's just
Charlie
a couple
Day-
minutes. It's just a couple minute clip, so y'all should pull it up and watch it. It's
Charlie
really good.
Day had a moment in the mid 2010s
He did.
with Horrible Bosses.
Oh my God, that's.
I'm just glad he's like still on it. It's always sunny.
Oh yeah,
You know,
it's on It's Always
I
Sunny.
always forget about that movie.
It's
a good
so
one.
Funny.
That's a great movie.
It's such a good movie.
Oh my God.
I feel like there's
That's a great cast right there.
Yes. Yeah.
Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx, Jennifer Aniston, Jason Bateman, Jason Sudeikis, Charlie Day. It's just a hit after
It's
hit.
a great movie.
It's very funny. The Charlie Day parts are so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that one.
He's gonna be Luigi in the Mario Brothers movie.
Okay. Oh, Mario.
Oh man, taking over the John Leguizamo
Yes,
legacy,
that is true.
the Legs legacy.
That's right. We don't talk about Bruno.
Yeah, exactly. That's all I've got. So that we're just down to our final question.
Yeah.
Does National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation make baby's first watch list?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine if this
This was the
but
one after
Eight
this
Crazy
whole
Nights did.
after this whole conversation.
Absolutely. I can't wait to watch it with Connell.
Yeah, it's gonna be so cute.
We're gonna watch the ABC version
Yeah.
first,
Yes.
and then as he progresses, we'll move on to the HBO.
He's seen some wild
He's seen
movies
some
already.
hardcore stuff.
But he doesn't know.
No, yeah.
yeah.
He was laughing at Nightmare on Elm Street though.
Yeah, that's a little concerning.
Yeah. So, do you have any takeaways?
Yeah, my biggest takeaway is it's cool to like things.
Yeah.
Clark loves Christmas, and we love to see him love Christmas. And the whole time, we are just rooting for him to, like, have a good Christmas. And I think that sometimes we get lost in the, oh, it's not cool to, like, nerd out about stuff.
Yeah.
And we're here to say it's cool to like stuff.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying.
We like
About-
movies. We talked.
I like all kinds of
We
stuff.
talked for an hour about Falling for Christmas.
Yeah, it was so fun. All right, what's your takeaway, Daddy?
So my takeaway is I hope that everyone finds a movie or a song that puts them in a good place. As I said before, you know, this movie just is very sentimental to me. Every time I watch it, I look forward to watching it every year. You know, it just puts me in a good mood, and it puts me in a good place, thinking of family and friends during this time. And so, you know, everybody, I would hope that everybody can have that type of song, anything, book, movie, whatever, that you can enjoy it over and over and remind you of good times.
Just like me and Christmas shoes.
No.
Definitely not. All right,
Yeah.
you don't have any takeaways.
No.
Boo to you.
Yeah, because I had to spend the 5 minutes before we recorded the first time putting together all the plot summary and the trivia and all that, and I did not get to my takeaways.
And then you panicked when you realized it wasn't recording the second half of the episode.
Yes. Which I just got up and checked a minute ago, and we're fine.
Well, I loved having our special secret guest. Well, not
wasn't
really
a secret.
And you'll be back for Rocky, for Monty Python and the Holy
Caddyshack.
Grail, for Caddyshack, for Belfast, for
Elf, probably.
Elf probably, and then Daddy's,
Daddy's
Home
Home
too,
too.
of course.
Yeah, of course. Which may be our series finale, actually. Yeah, Daddy's Home
Imagine.
too.
All right, what are we doing next week? And then we're done.
Next week we are doing When Harry Met Sally.
Great movie.
Same year, actually.
1989.
Yeah.
Great
it's
year.
Rob Reiner.
That goes along with my theory that when years end in 9, great year for movies. Every single decade end.
Okay. Well,
true.
yeah, we will see what 2029 brings us.
Good movies, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Another Avatar sequel, I'm sure.
Yeah, the fifth one. Or no, probably the third one.
Third one.
Yeah. So When Harry Met Sally is directed by Rob Reiner, who is one of our favorites.
King.
We did Misery, which he directed. We are big fans of The Princess Bride and his other.
This is Spinal Tap.
Yeah, the whole deal.
Love his work on All in the Family as well.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
yes, of
Cannot be
Meathead.
forgotten. And it stars Billy Crystal, Meg Ryan, Carrie Fisher, and Rob Reiner's mom.
Yep. Special cameo.
And it is has a very prominent New Year's Eve sequence, so that's why we're doing it now.
Yes.
Because
I
next
consider it a
week's-
fall movie, but whatever. It's a New Year's Eve.
well, it
movie.
is both
Yeah.
because there's a time jump.
Yeah.
So yeah. So next week we will be covering that for our New Year's episode, and it is available on Netflix and HBO Max if you are so inclined to watch it before our episode.
Perfect.
So
Bye. Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
see you later.